folks, you know the drill. We're going to start with some breathing first. Have a seat, lie down, whatever works for you. However you are finding this video, come into a comfortable position where you can relax your shoulders, lengthen your spine, shake out any excess energy though. Like, get it all out, get the wiggles out. If it looks silly, it's probably right. So go ahead and get a little silly, shake all that stuff out so you can come into this space a little bit more clear. Once you feel like you've gotten some of that energy released, settle back in. Long spine, whether you're seated or lying down. You can let your eyes soften or close completely, whatever feels most comfortable for you. That allows your face to soften. And start to focus on your breath. Notice your inhale, notice your exhale. Feel the air coming in and the air pushing out. Start to make those breaths a little bit longer, a little bit more audible. If you notice any of your air is escaping from your mouth, work to seal your lips so that inhale and exhale is coming from your nostrils. Keeping it light, keeping it natural, just noticing the breath. And slowly let your eyes take on light. And welcome back. To all of those who are not familiar with who I am, my name is Tarani, and you have found your way back to Embodied Grace Yoga. And I am extremely excited for this video. I know I say I'm excited in every video, but I am really excited today because this is the first of the entire 8 Limbs series where we are going to put one of these principles in practice. So today we are talking about all the ways that you can put the Yamas into practice. This is not typical of a yoga channel. You will definitely be getting some movement today. We're going to be going through a restorative practice today, but I also wanted to start off the video with introducing you to ways that you can take these principles away from the mat and into your everyday life, because yoga is about your entire life. Without further ado, let's just jump right into the Yamas. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about and you don't know what the Yamas are, please go back to my video that is introducing you to the Yamas, all 5 of them. I'll link it here in this video and as well in the description so that you are able to get a little bit more familiar with them. But I'll of course give you an overview here as well. So the first of the Yamas is Ahimsa, and Ahimsa is all about non-harm or loving kindness. And some of the ways that you can practice loving kindness or doing no harm starts within yourself. What are some ways that you think that you could be able to practice non-harm to yourself? Top of my mind is words. The things that you say to yourself, the things that are going on inside your own monologue or dialogue in your head if you have a few people up there. But what are some of the things that you say to yourself? What are some of the ways that you guide yourself through life? And are you speaking kind words to yourself? Are you practicing actions that are kind to yourself? Are you eating foods that are kind to your body? Are you doing all of these things that could potentially be bringing you harm? And it doesn't necessarily have to be physical harm. It could be emotional harm. It could be mental stress. And then once you have done that self-reflection, how can you let that loving kindness go out into the world? What type of actions are you showing to others? What type of words are you saying to others? I'm not sure if this is a solely American thing, but a phrase that I hear a lot is treat others the way you want to be treated. And you have to pause and think, well, how do I treat myself? And how is that impacting the way I treat others? If you're not able to treat yourself with loving kindness, it's extremely difficult for you to be able to show that same loving kindness to others. You need to do that in a fully well-rounded way where you are included in that kind act, that loving act, that appreciation. Do it for yourself. The second of the Yamas is Satya. And Satya is all about non-lying or your soul truth. And that can be expressed in many different ways. But I tend to find that Satya and Ahimsa work very closely to each other. When you are being kind to yourself, you have to have some level of honesty with yourself about the things that you are doing in your life. So Satya really comes into play when you're assessing how you can be much more kind to yourself, because you're now having to assess, well, what's really going on in my life? What am I really doing? And are the words that I'm speaking to myself truthful? Or am I living in a way that is aligned with what I truly feel in my heart, in my mind? And is this the path that I want to be on? And then you can work out the kind actions, the kind words, the ways that you can express that loving kindness to yourself and thus to others. But it also can tie into how you resolve conflict. We're humans. We don't always agree on things when we're interacting with other people. So in what ways is that truthfulness able to help you resolve conflicts in a healthy way? What happens, and I've seen it myself in my own life, is that because we care so deeply about people, we are afraid to hurt people's feelings. But what tends to hurt people's feelings more is by omitting the truth, or not telling them exactly what it is that is on your mind, on your heart, and keeping those things from them. So speaking your soul truth or living in your truth can actually help you resolve conflicts in a way that tie into living a more loving and kind existence within yourself and within others, because now you are able to express all of that honesty with these folks that you love and care about. It's not fun to lie to people, and this may just be the neurodivergent in me, but I find it extremely uncomfortable to be put in a position where I am not able to speak my truth or speak a truth about a situation. And if that's the case, I know that's not a situation I need to be in, where I am being either guided to be oh my gosh, dishonest. That's the word. See, I didn't even like the word. Where I am guided to be dishonest, or where it's encouraged to be that way, and it feels icky. I don't like it, and it's never somewhere that I want to be. So when I am thinking about Satya for myself, it always comes into assessing the things that are going on around me and really deciding, is this truly something I want to do? Is this truly somewhere I want to be? Am I in a place where I feel aligned with the things that I truly want for myself? And if the answer is no to any of that, I got to figure out something else, because this has to change and it needs to align. The third of the Yamas is Asteya, and Asteya is all about non-stealing. But if you want to think of it as more of a positive mindset, it's living in abundance mindset. One of the sayings that I love very much that I got from Susanna Barkataki during my 300-hour training was, I have everything I need here. And I'm paraphrasing that, but it's something that I find that I repeat to myself often when I start to get into a headspace of doom scrolling and seeing what others are doing with their life, and getting that little monkey on your shoulder that's saying something about whatever it is that you've got going on with your life. And I'm like, you know what? Nope, I have everything I need right here. I am where I'm supposed to be right now. And if I want to get into a different place, I know what I need to do to get there. And I will make sure that if I am inspired by anyone else's thoughts, actions, whatever it may be, I'm going to honor that and respect it, and then move accordingly, so that I am not stealing from someone else in order to find my joy. Because I don't find it joyful to take from others. It doesn't feel good, because I don't want anybody to take from me. And I'd love to live in a much more reciprocal way, where I can appreciate what I have and in my time, and appreciate what they have in their time, and know that those things can always change for anybody at any time. So I'm going to appreciate what I have right here in the moment, because otherwise I am living in the future or sad about the past and not appreciating what I have right here and now. Asteya is a practice that helps me stay grounded in the present. What do I have right here, right now, that I can say, oh my goodness, I am so thankful that I have this. And ironically, I am filming this at a time where it is a very gracious season. It's very top of mind, but thinking of Asteya and thinking of gratitude are great ways to practice not stealing from others, because you are expressing how thankful you are to have what you have. That doesn't mean you can't aspire to more, you can't, do things to get somewhere else, but honor what you have in that moment and do your best to not take from others in order to achieve more, if that is where you're wanting to go and that's what your ambitions are telling you to do. The fourth of the Yamas is Brahmacharya, which is all about chastity, or you can also think of it as how to set proper boundaries to help you conserve your energy. And typically it's thought of in a sexual energy way, where you are practicing abstinence or celibacy, but you can also expand that out, because abstinence and celibacy may not always be something for everyone, which is completely understandable. But some other ways that you could practice Brahmacharya in your life are, what things in life are energy vampires? What are things that are soaking up all of your thoughts, your time, your energy, your existence? And the first thing that I tend to think of is screen time. How much time are you spending on your phone? How much time are you spending in front of that computer screen? How much time are you spending at work when you probably should have clocked out? And what time are you investing into yourself? How are you able to conserve some of that energy so that you can put your best self forward every day? Some other things that you can think of is just kind of assessing your day. Yeah, we live some busy lives. It's just the way things are these days. And when you're thinking of Brahmacharya, in what ways can you say no to something so that you can conserve a little bit of energy for yourself? Like, let's take for instance that you do love going to yoga classes at your favorite studio, and power classes tend to be your most favorite class. Are you actually up for the power class that day after having woken up at 5 o'clock in the morning to prepare the kids for school, taking yourself to work? Kids have practices and recitals and things going on after school, getting them dinner, and then you're finally getting to your class. Do you have the energy for that? Should that be the class that you take? Because there are other classes you likely could take to help you conserve some of that energy, because you've probably used a bunch of it already that day. So thinking of things like that, what areas in your life can you say, you know what? I see where I need to practice a boundary here and pull away from that so that I can conserve some of me and my energy here and not exert it all out into areas that are going to deplete me. And if it is abstinence and celibacy, give yourself a particular time frame that you want to practice this or try this. This also can work with substances. Yes, we are a society that loves our alcohol, that loves our other things that, recreationally may, give you a good time. But those things aren't always the greatest practices to have depending on what your lifestyle is. So if you're on a mission to pull back from those things, let that be something that you set a boundary about. But Brahmacharya is all about that reining in, that pulling in from the things that take. And last of the yamas is Aparigraha. And Aparigraha is all about non-attachment and how you can allow yourself to let go and just be and accept what things are. And I find that Aparigraha and Asteya tend to work hand in hand very well, because letting go of things means that you need to appreciate and have gratitude for where you are and with what you have, and being okay with being right there and letting go of a notion or a strong attachment that you may have to something. And it doesn't necessarily need to be something physical. It could be a thought. It could be a particular mindset. It could be anything that you can think of that you are just grasping super tight to the point where your knuckles are proverbially white. Acceptance is the word that comes to mind the most. How are you accepting things that are happening in your life? Something I like to think of is that I am an ambitious person. I have an idea, I want to go for it, and I am just all in for it until I finally achieve it. And if I don't, I'm like, you know what, we got to go back to the drawing board and do it again. And if it still doesn't work, let's tweak it, go back to the drawing board, do it again, and until I finally get it. And then I have to realize there may be times where it's just never going to happen, and that's okay. If I am breaking myself down to the point of stress, anxiety, meltdowns, burnouts, all of that, is it really something that I need to be holding on that tightly to in order to achieve? And if the answer is no, then that is where I need to start practicing some of these other parts of the Yamas, and especially Aparigraha, and let it go. Release it and just live in this moment that I'm in right now, appreciating where I am. And this can be seen in so many ways, and it's not just necessarily ambitions towards an idea or a thought or a project that you have going on. It could literally be the things that you have, like physical attachments to items. I think I've told this story in my other video about the intro to Yamas, but I had this robe that I was just extremely attached to, and I did not want to let it go. But it got to a point where I was going through a closet clean out and realizing I had so many things that I had just been holding on to and moving from one place to the next, to the next, to the next, for no apparent reason, but just holding on to them. And I'm like, for what reason? What good are they doing me sitting here in my closet collecting dust that I'm allergic to? I know that this article of clothing would serve someone else much better than it is serving me right now. Release it. And it's okay. I will be fine. I've been living just fine without that item because clearly I have not touched it in years. So when it comes to Aparigraha, finding the ways that you can let go of the tightness that you hold on to anything, whether it be material things, whether it be ideas, whether it's thoughts, let them go. That is all 5. And these are ways that you can practice them outside of your mat. But now let's move to the mat and see some ways that you can put these things into practice when you go to your yoga classes. But we're going to go with just kind of jumping right into the Yamas with the type of practice that we're doing today. And it is going to be a restorative practice, which is very slow moving, very still, very chill, very meditative. And it is pretty much the embodiment of Ahimsa is restorative yoga. It can be an extremely restful practice, allowing you to not necessarily have to strain your body and do any physical harm. With us doing a restorative practice today, you're going to need a few things. I highly recommend that you have blocks, pillows, bolsters, cushions, blankets, straps, belts, scarves, whatever you may need to help hold you in place in comfort. And I also recommend that if you ever decide that you want to do a restorative practice on your own, have some sort of timer. This is my favorite timer to use. It's my little hexagon timer that comes in different time settings. And my 5 and 10 minutes are always my favorite ones for when I'm practicing a restorative flow. So I will be using this today, but I'm also going to put a timer up on the corner so that way we're all following the same time frame. So I'll be switching over to voiceover so that way I can just demonstrate to you all how to safely get into these postures and show you all the different ways that you can use the props to support your body right before we get into our long meditative hold. All right, so I'm going to give you some time to grab what you need. Go ahead and pause it if you need to, but I'm going to also grab my things because as you can see, there's nothing back there. I'm not going to use those today. Those are just for decoration. So grab your things and I will see you back here.
We're going to keep the spirit of grace in whatever that transition was, but as we get started, let's work our way into releasing the shoulders. So start with some shoulder circles, squeezing them up towards your ears and letting them slide down the spine, but then squeeze them up super high and then let them drop. Let your seat fully rest into the ground, your spine lengthen, and your head just sitting right on top of the neck. palms can be open or closed at the knees. Your legs can be extended or crossed. If you're lying down, you can get a head start and lie down. But we're going to focus on breath. We will start moving into the spine a little bit. But let your inhale come from the nose and your exhale come from the nose. Letting it deepen, hearing it move. Notice things that are going on in your body, places that are holding on to energy, and maybe not releasing them right now, but making that an intention for this practice. With the Yamas in mind, how can you give yourself a practice free of harm? What ways can you be fully honest with yourself? What areas can you be more grateful for and not steal from yourself? What ways can you practice boundaries that are safe for you? And finally, what things are you holding on to that you need to release? So let's start with that neck. Tip the head back, lift the chin, let the back of the neck release. Open up the throat. Steady the breath. With your next inhale, bring the head back up to center. Exhale, drop the chin down towards your chest. Your spine stays long. The only thing that moves is your chin towards the chest. Breath is still steady here, following that same rhythm you've cultivated from the beginning. Inhale, bring the head back up to center. Exhale, lower your right ear towards your right shoulder. Now keep the shoulder in that same position, only letting the head move towards it. This brings a lot of opening into the left side of the neck. So breathe into that space, feel it expand. Inhale, bring the head back up at center, and exhale over to the other side. Shoulders are still grounded. Head is just moving over towards that direction to open up the right side. Next inhale, bring the head back up at center. And exhale, lower your chin towards your chest. Inhale, roll towards the right, then back. Exhale, roll your head to the left, then back down to front and center. And you'll continue that movement all the way around. Inhale for the right side and back. Exhale for the left side and front. Full 360 all the way around. Take it slow. Follow your breath. Now let's switch it up and roll in the opposite direction. So your inhale will take you to the left and back, and exhale to the right and front. Inhale to the left, back, exhale to the right and front. Keep going in that same pattern, just reversed, following your breath. With a big inhale, let the head come back up at neutral. Roll out the shoulders, shake out the arms, and let's start to get into our first posture of this practice. So to begin, grab your big cushion for Balasana, Child's Pose. So we're setting this up to support our torso, and then bring in a blanket or anything that you like to cushion the knees. I also like to put a little bit of a cushion underneath my ankles, so I'm rolling up just that bottom half of the blanket so that my ankles rest on top of it, and then my knees still have some space to have a little extra cushion. You'll spread your knees out wide, bring in your bolster, your cushion, whatever you have, a little closer in. But then you can also have the option of placing a pillow on top of your calves so that your hips have something soft to settle into. If you prefer something a little firmer, you're absolutely welcome to grab it. If you know that you want to stick as many pillows as you can under there, go for it. But once you've got that part settled, get into the front half, bring in all of your pillows, and set your timer. I have put a timer on the screen for you. We'll start with 5 minutes, so that way you can rest either right cheek or left cheek onto your bolster in front. And halfway through this 10-minute full practice of this posture, you'll switch sides. So I will be back here to let you know when to switch. But in the meantime, give yourself the opportunity and the grace to move around and find your posture. Find the positioning that feels good for you. Find the support that feels good for you so that you can allow your body to fully rest and relax. Take your deep breaths. Settle in. Let your body sink in deeper and deeper with every inhale and exhale. And I will see you guys in a few minutes. We've reached the halfway mark, so go ahead and turn the other cheek. But because you've added in movement, settle back in. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Let the body soften once again into the supports beneath you. Remain still in the posture, but start to deepen your breath. We're approaching the last few seconds of this posture. Start to become aware of your body, aware of the space that you're in. Hear the breath move in and out. Feel the sensations in your body. and start to introduce movement with little wiggles of the fingers, the toes, rolling out the wrists and ankles. Take your time finding movement, letting those movements grow as you progress, and slowly come up onto the hands and knees. Pay attention to all the areas that you're noticing where, you know how in the morning things feel a little stiff, you want to stretch and roll things out. Do that same thing. Get some movement invited slowly into the body, whatever feels good. And then start to move some things out of the way so you have a little bit more freedom to move around. Cat-cow is a great option for introducing movement back into the spine after a long hold. I also recommend twists of any kind. They can be long, they can be short, they can be bound, whatever you like. Move in a way that feels freeing to yourself, to release that harm, to show some gratitude. Up next, we have Supta Konasana, also known as Reclined Cobbler's Pose. Some folks will call it Reclined Butterfly Pose because your knees are going to be spread open wide with feet together touching. So I'm starting out with setting up my blanket roll that will be support for under my knees, and I'll show you how later. But the most important thing to set up is your ramp. So grab 2 blocks. You're going to set up one at what I like to call Papa Bear height, the tallest height at the back of the mat. And then grab your second block, set it up at Baby Bear height, the shortest, just in front of Papa Bear, creating kind of like a fallen L shape. You'll then take your thick, sturdy pillow or bolster, rest it on top of the blocks, and create a ramp. If you do not have these supplies, you're always welcome to use whatever is similar to or stack enough pillows on top of each other that it creates a supportive ramp for you. But if you are using the blocks, make sure to play around with the placement of everything so that it's secure and stable for you. You want to push into it, move it around a little bit, make sure it's not moving and wobbling all crazy. And grab your blanket roll, slide it just underneath the legs, let the knees spread open wide, the feet come together to touch. Now, since my knees are still a little high and the inner thighs are a little tight, I've grabbed additional pillows to slide underneath my knees for extra support. You can also bring in support underneath your ankles if you're feeling particular pressure, but we're in this posture for 10 full minutes. Lie back, start to soften into your supports, adjusting what you need to adjust, letting your chest spread open wide and letting your arms rest to the sides. As you can see, I'm not quite sure what to do with my hands. If you're feeling any particular tension in your shoulders, your chest, when your arms are out spread wide, grab a couple more blocks or anything else to elevate your hands away from the floor so that you can fully rest your chest and shoulders. Take your deep breaths, and I will see you back here in a few minutes. Remain rooted in your stillness, but again start to deepen your breath, letting yourself travel back into your body, awareness of the space that you're in. And slowly start to wiggle fingers, toes, roll wrists and ankles, stretch the arms overhead, lengthen the legs, take that full good morning stretch and reach. Take your time finding your way back up to a seated position. Stay steady with the breath. following that same rhythm. And once you're ready to come upright, keep the support underneath your knees while you reach forward into a forward folded position down the length of your legs towards your toes. And we're ready for round 3. Up next, we have Kapotasana, also known as Pigeon Pose, and we'll be focusing on the right side. So grab a couple blocks. I'm going to set up a bit of a platform for your upper body here. Pigeon Pose is one of those postures where your front leg is bent and knee is pointed over towards the same side as that same front leg. So if it's right leg that's in front, your knee is over towards the right while your right foot swings underneath your left hip. So you're going to need some support here if you're noticing that there's some tightness in your hips. So what I've done is I've set up my blanket as additional cushion for the right side where my knee will be bent, but the blanket is for my left side that is going to be extended towards the back of the mat. So I'm grabbing a couple extra blocks for additional support underneath my right hip. And take your time with finding what works in this posture. It can be quite a lot of intensity on your lower half. So take your time to really play with what feels good. If you're noticing this is a little harsh on the knees, you are welcome to lie on your back using the same ramp that we used in Reclined Cobbler's pose and do a figure 4 cross. And I do apologize that I did not film an example of that alternative, but I promise you I will get an example of it here very soon. But as you can see here, my right knee is forward with my foot sweeping over towards the left side. My left leg is extended toward the back, and I'm using a block to kind of fill the gap between me and the floor. In these postures, all of these supports are used in an effort to fill that space between you and the surface at which you're practicing on. So use whatever you need to stuff under there to make sure you have a firm support that you can fully rest into. Now that I've found my sweet spot, I'm ready to relax for the next 5 minutes. You can choose to have chin towards your pillow or rest your right or left cheek down towards it, but we'll switch sides when we finish up on this side. So take your deep inhale, deep exhale. Remember that you are allowed to move and adjust your body so that you can find comfort in a posture that does bring discomfort. This is a great place to practice your honesty and your boundaries. If you're pushing yourself too hard, where can you release and let go? Deep inhale and deep exhale. Continue to rest in your stillness, but start to deepen your breath. Once again, returning back into your body, back into this space. And gently start to bring in movement. You can start with lifting your torso just slightly up and away from the ground. Take your time with this one. Use caution, use care as you come back into a tabletop position on all fours, and find gentle, easy movement into your right side. You can stretch the leg back, you can roll the knee in circles, creating those hip circles. Cat-cow is a great option here as well, but take your time. And once you're ready, you can start setting up for the left side. So we'll still be doing the same posture, Kapotasana, on the left side. And allow yourself the ability to understand that each side is like its own separate person. What was good for the right side may not be as good for the left side. So be sure to understand those differences. Practice Satya and understand the truth of the situation, what's going on, and how you can practice non-harm. Once you're settled in with all of your props on the left side, allow your body to rest. And if you had right cheek down on your last round, switch it to left cheek or vice versa. So that way each side of the neck has an opportunity to open, expand, and relax. Lengthen your inhale and exhale, but allow your body to stay in this stillness for just a few seconds more. And slowly start to bring movement and life back into your body. Give a gentle push of the body away from the pillows underneath your torso. Gently find movement into the lower half of the body, carefully making your way back to your hands and knees, to lovingly find movement into your left side. Give yourself props. Being in that posture for that long is quite a feat. But let's move on to our next one. We have Upavistha Konasana, also known as wide angle forward fold. So we're going to set up another ramp. However, this time Papa Bear is going to be in front of Baby Bear. And Baby Bear is going to be kind of T-shaped against Papa Bear to shorten the distance, because you're wanting to create a little bit higher of a ramp this time. So this kind of helps play around with the different height levels that you can make this ramp. So with your legs spread out wide, or at least starting to, grab whatever you need to lay underneath your knees in this posture. Because when your legs are outstretched and extended, the backs of the knees are going to want to try to touch the ground, but you'll notice that's a little intense. So to take some of the intensity out of the forward fold in this posture, lift the knees and bring supports underneath them so they're not working so hard. At least the back of your legs aren't. And again, play around with this. Find where you feel comfortable and most supported. And if you need more things, find more things, stick them under there. If you need to adjust, be sure to adjust. If you notice you need to adjust while you're in the posture, take the time to do so. Take care of yourself. Once your support structure feels ready, we'll be in this posture for 10 full minutes. So as you get into position, settle in, soften your shoulders, rest either right or left cheek to your pillows, your bolsters. If you prefer chin or forehead to your bolsters, you're welcome to do so there, as long as you are able to find your breath. Let every inhale fill the space, creating space. And let the exhale soften you into your posture a little bit further, sinking into the support structure a little bit more. take this opportunity to let your breath carry you back into your body. Notice the space around you. And then ever so gently start to return some movement back into the body. As always, wiggles of the fingers and toes to start you out. And then gradually make your movements bigger until you're ready to push up and away from your front setup. We've made it to the final posture of the day, Savasana, also known as corpse pose, one that most of us should be familiar with. But what I want you to know about this corpse pose that we'll be practicing today is that it can be supported with whatever you need underneath your body. So for this setup, I have a neck pillow for underneath my head and neck. I will also have my blanket kind of tucked and rolled to support my lower spine. And then I will also have a bolster or a pillow underneath my calves or just at the back of the knees. This helps alleviate so much tension and extra work that the body may do in order to stay in stillness like Shavasana requires you to. So with that said, allow your inhale and exhale to invite in a level of stillness that we have not encountered just yet in this practice today. Inhale to find that awareness of your body, awareness of the space around you, but your exhale allows you to surrender. give your breath the opportunity to expand and contract. Deep, long, slow pulls of air in, full breaths out. Gently start to bring movement back into your body. Small wiggles of fingers and toes, graduating to hands and feet in small circles, graduating to the legs, the arms, reaching overhead, taking that full good morning stretch just like you do every day when you wake up. Carefully draw your knees in towards your chest and gently roll to your right side. You can use your pillow if you have one already there underneath your head and neck. Otherwise, you can use your arm or your hand. And stay here for a moment, eyes still closed, allowing your body to readjust to being upright. With your eyes still closed, gently push yourself up into a supported seat. Sit bones settled into either the floor, the pillows, the blanket, whatever you'd like to put underneath your body that allows you to lengthen your spine, relax your shoulders, and rest your hands. We'll end today's practice with 3 chants of Om and then 3 chants of Shanti. You're welcome to join along with me. Otherwise, you can just sit and observe and allow the vibrations to carry you back into your space a little firmer. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Deep breath in, press palms towards each other. Deep breath out as you gently bow with an expression of love, respect, and peace to each other.
All right, folks, that is all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this practice as well as the tips that I gave you for bringing the yamas both into your everyday life as well as your asana practice anytime you find yourself practicing the physical postures on a mat. If you have any questions about anything or feedback that you would like to give, go to the comments. Let me know down below so that I can make sure to address any questions you may have or make sure to create a video for anything that you're wanting a little extra help on. You can also email me at hello@embodiedgraceyoga.com, and I'm also on Instagram at embodiedgraceyoga. If you are interested and would like to journal after some of your physical practices, I do have a free downloadable that includes 28 journal prompts to help guide you through a more embodied practice, including the 8 limbs of yoga. So if you're interested in that, there is a link in my profile here on YouTube as well as on Instagram. But that is it. I'm not going to talk any further. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you guys later. Bye.